All systems go.
You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything
Could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Hey, good morning, everyone. And there we go. Get rid of that little bit of an echo. Welcome to the morning shift, Sudbury News Talk, CKLU 96.7 FM on the airwaves and CKLU.ca on the internet and on your favorite device. If you've downloaded the Radio Player Canada app, listen to us any place, anytime on your favorite device, as we said. Also, Facebook Live, facebook.com/Sudbury News, and YouTube Live, youtube.com/Sudbury News. You can catch us online and on the air each and every weekday morning between 7:30 and 8:30. However, this Friday, celebrating Canada Day, we will not be on the air, so we're going to be celebrating Canada Day that day. And I hope that Zach, who's here today, will be celebrating as well.
I love Canada Day.
Yeah, what do you like most about Canada Day?
Fireworks.
Okay, good answer. That was really good. I thought you were going to get stuck there for some reason. Are you going to the Science North fireworks on
I'll
Canada
be
Day?
watching. I'll be watching.
From your house or from...
I'm not sure yet.
You're just going to find a spot?
I should probably figure that out.
I think you
pretty
should.
Close now.
You should definitely figure that out. That's going to be 2 days from now.
It's a weekend Canada Day.
It's a weekend. It's a long weekend. I think there's a lot of people looking forward to the long weekend.
Yeah.
It's been, I'm looking forward to it anyways. I hope you are too, and I hope all those that are able to be with us on Facebook Live, feel free to share. And feel free to share. And we're going to see if we can get the comments right in the video today. I know I said that we're going to have that last time, and I was trying to do that, and so hopefully today we're able to figure that out, so that way you don't have to follow the comments right on Facebook. You can just see them on the screen, and maybe I'm in charge of which ones get on the screen or not. I have no idea, but what I do know what I'm in charge of is starting off with the weather today, so let's get started, and we'll be back with our new weather template right after this. And as previously said, we have a new weather template, and Zach is on the weather, so if he wants to comment on it, which a lot of us do, the weather impacts us all. And you'd be surprised when you want to start up a conversation with somebody and you think you have a hard time doing it. All you have to do is say, wow, what about the weather today? And at least up here in Northern Ontario, you're going to get some response. It's going to break the ice. So a little tip for everybody. So speaking of that, the weather today, 12 degrees, currently 100% humidity. So pretty humid out there. It did rain quite a bit yesterday. It really came down. Hopefully our garden wasn't ruined by any stretch because it was really heavy rain.
Was it?
Extremely.
Last night?
Last night, here, in this neck of the woods. But anyways.
I think you're pretty unique there.
Yeah, well, maybe we just had it out here. Mainly cloudy, 30% chance of showers today, early this morning. Fog patches dissipating. Was there fog on the way?
No.
Oh, well, they've dissipated then.
It was a lot cooler this morning than it has been.
Yeah.
So like a little bit of dew,
Yeah.
But,
yes, and yesterday was a little cooler as well.
Not foggy.
Compared to that heat wave we had last week. And today will be much of the same. It'll be the nice, comfortable high of 22. And tonight, few clouds, increasing cloudiness after midnight, low of 10. And then for Thursday, they're forecasting anyways, a mix of sun and cloud, 40% chance of showers. Risk of thunderstorm in the afternoon. And the wind could get up to 60 kilometers in the morning and the afternoon. High of 23, humidex will be 28. So it will feel a little warmer on Thursday, UV index 9 or very high. And then our extended forecast, you got your chance of showers, 40% for Thursday and Friday. We're hoping that for Canada Day, we'll get some of that early sun that they're forecasting on Saturday and Sunday as weather can and does change. And it's currently only a 40% chance of showers. So let's just hope for good weather on Friday. And we'll have more about the weather tomorrow on tomorrow's show. So be back after this with some headlines, really juicy ones. As promised, we got some, we got a lot to chew on today. And we talked a little bit about it yesterday that we knew it was coming. There was a city council meeting, and so they were voting on some pretty juicy topics. So lots to talk about today.
No kidding.
And then some. There's other things too.
Yeah, it's just, how it unfurls. Sometimes there's a theme, and today there definitely was a city council and a local art theme. So the first headline that I wanted to discuss was the Greater Sudbury Airport receiving a pledge from the federal government, as we discussed might happen earlier this week, will be going ahead with $2.6 million for some infrastructure upgrades. So that's been on the on a possibility for a while now.
Exactly.
And it looks like it will go ahead.
It looks like it.
The theater board, which would be the dispute between Sudbury Theater Center and Yes Theater, came to a head yesterday. They had a town hall over the handling of the merger between the two theater companies. So we'll go through a little bit of what attendees had to say, some interested parties, some board members. Generally, it seems like not well received. It seems like the merger was done perhaps a little bit incorrectly.
SDC, Yes Theater, the youth group, along with the long-standing professional theater group. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in general, I think both of us would tend to agree it's a good idea to merge the two. It's just the way that it was done maybe wasn't the best.
Yeah.
We're hearing about the incubator again, local business, innovation, technology-based innovation quarters at 43 Elm Street. So that had its debut.
Yeah, so it's a brand new. I used to work for a place that was similar to that, and it was the precursor to what this is. And I'll kind of chime in because I have experience working at a place similar to this. But it's a really good idea, an incubator for new startups. Much needed.
It's funny to me when you can tell that somebody uses a name because of the acronym.
Okay.
So like Innovation Quarters.
Yes.
Was very clearly the name was chosen because of the acronym. But anyways, we'll talk about that. There was a note that I wanted to talk about because it relates to local news and, it kind of relates to us. So we'll end the hour with this. It was about the Sudbury Star reducing its circulation to just 3 times a week.
Yeah, I know. So the paper, the long-standing paper that we pay for, the subscription paper, Sudbury Star, our local newspaper will only be going to 3 days instead of, it used to go 6 days.
That's right.
I think maybe went 7 days at one time. But anyways, it's it's down to 3 days. That's interesting. I'd like to unpack some of that as well.
Yeah, we'll dive into that, talk about it, because it is a local news.
For sure, it's huge news.
Kind of signals the move more towards online.
It's our only
their
paper.
Online news will continue.
Online will continue.
6 days a week.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Junction East. That's the headline of the day. Like you said, the cultural hub, the upcoming library art gallery building right next to Sudbury Theater Center, originally was proposed at $46.5 million. It almost doubled the budget to $89, more than $90 million most likely.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, they suspended the Junction West project,
which I didn't even really know about, and I kind of...
I'm guessing a lot of listeners don't know
feel
about
bad.
that.
I didn't even know there was a Junction West kind of initiative that they were going to do along with Junction East. So, hey, who would have thought?
So first, let's start off with who was against the nearly unanimous vote to approve Junction East, and that was Ward 11, Bill Leduc, and
Yeah,
Ward
that's who it
2, Michael Vignini.
That's right. Vagnini against it. Seems to be like a man of the people.
Seems to be commonly against the popular.
kind of thing. Yeah, he seems to
thing.
go against the grain. Seems to be on the people's side usually, is what I get anyways. That's just my own personal, view of seeing him in the news and things that he's doing.
So
he
Leduc
was
argued
against-
that the location was a big problem.
Okay, so that was his beef.
So-
the location itself.
Vignini's was,
Downtown.
it's not a priority.
Yeah.
So of those two, I would say you're probably leaning more toward the Vignini
Yeah, I would say
side.
both have
Both?
merit. The location as well. If you're not going to build parking or something, anyways, parking's a problem downtown, and that was not even part of the project, and or the plans, and won't be. So, but Vagnini says, okay, is this really important right now, kind of thing. So I do tend to lean, like you said, more towards that in general, anyways.
Sure.
'Cause why do we? So that's the thing. What's the purpose? Is there a need?
Right. So Bill Leduc's
Yeah.
kind of, I'm trying to come up with a good word for it.
Maybe he's for it,
His
but
concern
yeah,
was that Ramsey Lake
Would've
should
been
be
better.
the proposed location.
so maybe where
Because
the
there'd be
general
more
hospital
potential. There'd be more potential for,
is. Sure.
a large center like this. Building it in a downtown location, which is already kind of on the way down, it's not, maybe that's not the best.
Downtown's on its way down. That's right, downtown.
Well, I mean,
Living up
it's
to
just
its name.
objectively true that downtown's not, what it used to be.
And there's been all kinds of
And it's been on a downward trend.
yeah, and we're really struggling, and we're trying.
There's been a lot of work to get
we're
it to turn
working
around, but it hasn't
to get it up.
yet.
Yeah,
So whether you want to argue whether we should be doing that or not,
Yeah.
it's just the reality that it is,
for sure.
not the place where people ideally want to spend their time.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see the merits of that. But anyway,
Yeah.
so let's talk about why people were for it.
Cool.
Councillor Montpellier said during tonight's meeting, he was in favor of the project because it will be owned by taxpayers and
Yeah.
help Greater Sudbury shine. So it'll make us look like a large city in Northern Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
And the community appears to largely support it despite the cost. He also added there will be no legal challenges or objections and no protests, a very different story compared to the KED.
Yeah.
So
Basically, we were laughing a little bit before we went on there.
yeah.
If the city builds something, there's no red tape because the city can approve all of the. You don't even need permits, I guess, or maybe you just need them, just to have them. But you're just gonna rubber stamp everything. Boom, 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 boom. It gets
Sure.
done. Whereas if this was a private initiative, and the city would go, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Put the brakes.
That's right. You can't do it like that. Gotta do it like this. Can't do it like that. And then the private guy would go, you know what? I'm out of here.
And you
Can't
just
do
go
it.
to a different city.
Go to a different city, and they're like, hey, bring your money here.
Perfect. Let's build it ourselves.
That's right.
That's
and then we're like,
very
well,
common.
no one else is here to build it because we don't allow anyone to do anything here. I guess we got to do it. And heck, it's a good thing that, what did this guy say? The one
It'll be
about,
owned by the city.
it's a good thing. It's a good thing that we'll own this and have to pay for all of the costs. Because what kind of, the one thing that was missing from this whole thing? They were talking about all the costs. But usually when you're proposing to do a large legacy project like that is what money is coming in.
Yeah, let's
From
compare it to the income.
So let's compare that to, let's say, like an idea of a new arena. You'd say it's going to cost the city's,
X. Mm-hmm.
the taxpayers are going to be part owners. It's going to cost you this initially. But you know what? Ticket sales are going to be this every year. Do you know what? Licensing and advertising is going to bring in this every year.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? In 3 years, we have a plan that we're going to be profitable. And all that tax money that we put out is going to come back, and it's going to be like an investment. Whereas this whole thing is void of any of that. It's like, hey,
Right.
good news. We'll be paying for this for the rest of our lives. Isn't that great? That's what that comment says to
Yeah,
me.
that's
Taxpayers will own it. That's the great thing about it. What does that even mean? What does that even mean?
Well, this is to me. This is very well, well timed for my life personally, because recently I've been reading another controversial read.
Yeah, which you do read quite a bit.
I like to try different
for sure,
things to see what people think. And I've been recently reading Art of the Deal by our very own DJT. And Donald Trump's big, one of the big projects that put him on the map was his Atlantic City casino hotel. And this kind of reminds me of that. It's, I don't know, it's been really interesting. It's an interesting read if you're into real estate like I am, because it is like kind of a real estate book, which I didn't know going into it. I thought it would be more of like a negotiation book, like this is how you get people to do what you want. But it's really not like that. It's very much like, this is how I did this project. This is how I made this happen. And kind of reminds me of that. So in the book, he wants to build an Atlantic City casino, and he doesn't know anything about casinos.
Yeah, I know who wrote this book now.
Yeah, I was just talking in code.
For sure, yes.
He didn't know anything about casinos, but he knew that they made a lot more money than hotels.
For sure.
So when Atlantic City had like a referendum on whether to allow gambling or not, he waited, because he could have bought the land for like pretty cheap to build a hotel, but he wanted to be sure that it would be legally allowed first. Anyway, so he just goes through his thought process, and because he had a track record of building stuff on time and on budget, he got the money. He raised the money to build this awesome, like, really, really nice casino hotel. And then other companies later, like, came on board and were like, we want to be part of this too. Yeah. Because we can't build anything.
Well, as you can
whenever
see,
we build something, it goes over budget.
For sure.
Goes over time.
Yeah.
So what I learned basically is you could become a billionaire if you can build large projects on time. Yeah. And on budget.
It's true.
So that must be a pretty rare skill.
It is a rare skill. So Miles chimes in. I got the live comments going on our live feed now. And basically says Atlantic City casino went bankrupt, not very successful. Maybe that was afterwards. Other things, other factors, but the original building of it.
Real estate kind of bombed 10 years after. But
there's probably multiple reasons for that.
I think you're probably right. I think there probably were things about it that weren't done perfectly. But the point is, there were many casinos in Atlantic City before he moved in, and he built the best one. For sure. And it was like even better than expected. Yeah, exactly. Like they were expecting like $30 million a year, which is what he had it managed by another company first. And you can hate Donald Trump and still acknowledge that he was successful and stuff. I find it really funny when people are like, well, he must suck at everything because I don't like him. Well, that's just not the case. Well, you can dislike people and they be good at stuff.
No, the media was very crafty in making everyone take a stand, whether you were for or against. And that was really tricky. It was a real interesting psychological test, if you will, on the people, similar to War of the Worlds back in whenever day when everyone thought there was a real alien attack going on. It was like, look how we can divide the country, divide everybody into Trump supporter or not. You know what I mean? It's like, give me a break. Why can't I agree with some things he does and disagree with other things, just like I have my whole life with anybody? It's like, it's all divide and conquer. It's a war tactic from those that are trying to take down that particular country. But anyways, another comment from Miles talking about he believes that the city, even though they build their own things, still have red tape, because it's Pioneer Manor was an example of that, how it was stalled. Right? So he would know because he has the inside scoop on that thing.
You would think.
I would think so. I hope his whole comment fit in there, but I can't really tell from here. The screen is a little too small. But anyways, also, I just want to give a shout out to some of our other commenters out there. Looks like a new one. Naomi, basically, we wanted to say that can't wait for the long weekend. That was previously before
when we were talking about that.
And I got this all set up, and now at least I know how to work it. So thanks everyone for commenting, and we're going to have all your comments coming in as I can, as they're pertinent, and hopefully they come in real time while we're talking about it and not a little delayed like before. And also, I believe it is Reba. I think it's Reba Twain, but the name is backwards, but it could be opposite. But anyways, good morning to you as well, and thanks for being with us. Thanks, everyone, for your comments. Keep them coming. And we're talking about the Junction East project being green-lighted, and it was originally forecasted for, what, 40-some million dollars 3 years ago?
Wow.
And just recently now it's doubled.
Yeah, just think of that.
98 point whatever million.
That's crazy.
Might as well round it off to 100 million. Green-lighted.
Yeah, well, they did leave 14 million for called like an overrun fee.
Yeah.
But what about overtime fees? Like if the construction goes long because someone forgets to file a piece of paperwork on time or something.
Yeah.
What about the money for that?
Yes.
Well, it turns out the building's not going to make any money, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Lost revenues are not a problem. But yeah,
but what's in
I'm
Junction
generally
East
skeptical.
again? Let's just now go over before we get out of Junction East and into our other stories.
Yep.
Because it is a huge story for Sudbury. It means a lot.
It's a huge article on Sudbury.com. We can't cover it all.
And Sudbury Star, they both covered it, so you may want to get the two. And look, it's your city, it's your money.
It's set to open spring
$100 million.
2025.
Yeah.
Which is about the same time the KED is supposed to be finished.
When will construction start on this? Like this summer,
That's a good
right
question.
away?
It must be pretty soon.
Because I was going to say, in order to be open
First quarter
2025
2023 would be when it starts.
First quarter. Isn't first quarter? Oh, it depends on what the first quarter of the city is. Because every corporation has a different, you can start your fiscal year.
They all start at January, though.
They could. Corporations don't necessarily have to start on January. They can pick any day to be their but again, if it is
You're
January,
right, like earnings are set on different times. You're right.
you can have
But
your year
first
end.
quarter is first quarter.
Yeah.
That's why they give it a vague date like that, right?
So first quarter. So it can be anywhere between January and March, April.
So originally 10 companies took interest. Now 4 of them are pre-qualified. So only one of them is a Sudbury company.
Cool.
The rest are Ontario kind of thing.
Now I can't tell if Anne Marie is a Trump supporter or not from her comment.
Doesn't matter.
Because it just says, nope, never did and will like Trump. So I don't know if that's you never did like Trump or you never will not think of liking Trump. So
I don't think she likes Trump.
that's my guess.
You know what's
That'd
made
be
me
my
laugh
guess.
about reading Art of the Deal is many people disliked him then.
Oh, and now it's even worse.
Many people disliked him then. So
exactly.
it doesn't surprise me what,
And you
the
know
way
what?
he's gotten himself
And you know what? I never liked him before.
wrapped up.
I didn't like his personality. He kind of just came across in that reality show he had. I was like, well,
Yeah.
you're fired. Anyways, who are you? But anyway, so I really didn't like the guy that much.
He's
But
definitely original. I'll give you that.
when he ran for president or whatever, I kind of listened to him more. So I listened to what he was saying more than I ever would because I don't really watch reality TV.
Same.
So I said, wow, that guy's got a point. So he made some good points. So that's what other people wouldn't give him any credit for when he's talking about politics. And then they started talking like other politicians don't say anything wrong. And I'm like, well, what is going on with people's minds? Like the other one is perfectly great. Nothing they do is wrong. And I'm like, that's not true. And then Trump does everything wrong. And I'm like, that's not true
That can't be
either.
possibly true. Yeah.
So it's on your scale of 1 to Trump hating, I guess is what it is. And like I said, I didn't like the guy before he came in to be president. But then I actually thought, wow, he said some good things and actually did some good things as president, as a record. If you follow politics and you understand it.
Yeah.
So you got to give credit where credit's due. Still don't like his personality. Don't, whatever. It is what it is. So the media is not forcing me to say I'm either for or against. You're either for us or you're against us. No, I like this couple
being
things
in the
about
middle.
you, and I don't like those things about you. That's what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like this airport story.
Yeah, just like Junction East, first of all, there are some good things about it. I think mostly bad. I give 2 thumbs down myself for it. I don't like to just go into bankruptcy or whatever.
Sometimes you have to just open a dialogue.
But it's going to happen.
Spend
That's right.
$100 million on art projects.
Sometimes you just got to spend $100 million. That's all there is to it.
And our liberal
I really
MPs,
apologize for
our
that.
liberal MPs are in favor. So
They
that's
are.
what I wanted to
So
say.
the liberal MPs are in favor, yes.
They are in favor. So federal funding announced this week, will be spent on various infrastructure projects at the Sudbury Airport. So this was a concern that, the beleaguered organization, as the Sudbury.com article says, Sudbury Airport hasn't been upkept probably as it should have been in the last few years.
Takes money, apparently.
The pandemic
To
kind
upkeep
of caused some issues with its funding,
Mm-hmm.
wear and tear issues. This $2.6 million will make hopefully a big difference. They call it plugging a budget hole. So
Plugging a budget hole, yeah.
yeah, like
Because
a plug.
unlike the Junction East project, airports do bring in money too. Like you have to
and
pay.
they are important.
Yeah, so they could actually be financially viable, although the airline industry is heavily subsidized, and we know it doesn't
Yeah.
really bring a profit. And that's the model they've chose to go down. We had this conversation yesterday.
Did
And
we?
Yeah, about airlines not being profitable. Maybe it wasn't yesterday. It could have been a
Many
couple of
days
shows ago.
but-
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
like the totals. There's been some professional investors have said that the total sum of all the profits of every airline has been zero.
Yes.
So like when you include all the losses and all the profits, it's been about zero.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Anne Marie just wants to chime in and say, yeah, no, she actually doesn't like Trump. Just to
Yeah, I just wanted to double down.
We figured that.
I figured that.
Yeah, we kind of figured that. But anyways, just
Yeah, that's generally the default position. So
It's really-
about
yeah.
60% of pandemic numbers right now is what the airport is bringing in
yeah.
as far as travelers.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-pandemic numbers assumed are normal. I mean, it could have been in decline. I'm not too sure.
Was the
So-
airport profitable pre-COVID?
No.
That's what I'd like to know.
No, definitely not.
It still wasn't profitable.
No, I would say for sure
It
not.
still needed government
Going to go
assistance.
ahead and give the guarantee that it was not.
So why didn't they say, why don't we build Junction East
As the airport.
in the airport?
Yeah.
No. Now watch this. Think of that. All of the travelers going through don't you have time while you're waiting for your plane? What are you going to do? Go to the
Waiting
maker.
for your plane?
You're
What do you
waiting for your plane. You go to the airport early. They're
Oh,
like,
I
there's a
see what you're
delay.
saying.
Wait a minute. I can go to the maker space and make something on the 3D printer while I'm waiting. Or I can look at some beautiful art that would really we would show off Sudbury and show off Northern Ontario at the airport. And you'd go to the library, read a book, go on, like so many things to do while you're waiting. What do you do now? You just sit there on your phone. That's it. That would have been great.
That's crazy, yeah.
Think about it.
I think-
could have
I
saved
mean-
the $2 million.
I don't want to get too off track here, but wouldn't it be better to like make a more efficient travel means to and from the airport?
Like a shuttle or a train?
Like a shuttle? I don't know. I'm just thinking like I can't think of a place I've been where the airport is so isolated from the town, you know?
Sault Ste. Marie,
I've never been in the airport there.
Timmins,
Yeah, same.
probably North
Like
Bay.
air should be probably the best means of transport where we are. But it seems to be very, very underused for a few reasons.
Uh-huh.
But anyways, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here.
Sure.
I've thought that a tram might be a good investment for the city for like more commonly used things like the airport.
Okay, a tram, yeah.
Like a permanent transportation way, just because people don't use the bus. Well, obviously people do use the bus. Like a lot of people do travel
Yeah.
by bus, but my point is
But
when
try
I'm
bringing all
coming
your
into
luggage on the bus.
when I'm coming to the airport, I always get someone to pick me up. Like it's just not a thought to use the bus.
No.
But I think I would use something like a tram.
Yeah, because think if you take the bus, you got to get all your luggage and everything, and you're traveling, and it's not
That's true.
convenient,
Yeah, it's not.
right?
Anyways, it's,
You
I
need
don't
something
know.
for your
It's just
luggage.
Something I thought about.
No, it's a
before.
good idea, but if you're thinking forward thinking, I like the idea, and then you think, well, you need a special bus that has place for all your luggage and stuff, and then that would be fine. You get off, and then right from the bus, you can have a checkout thing where you can put your luggage right from the bus right into the airport terminal, and it goes or whatever. You know what I mean? To make it efficient. But no, good idea.
I think the way I would do it, this is kind of weird, abstract, but the way I would do it is you'd have one tram line going on the Kingsway, you'd have one tram line going on LaSalle,
Yeah.
and you'd have one tram line going on Notre Dame. / Paris / Long Lake.
It's a lot of trams.
And then it would make like a triangle.
Huh.
And those would be your 3 lines. Because I think you could cover pretty much the whole city.
Well, it's true.
Anyways.
I think Miles basically is saying our bus system does need a hand here. Because
Well, he was mentioning he took the bus, right?
he does, so
Save some
he
money?
would know for sure.
Save some
You
money?
definitely would know that it's definitely needs a lot of work.
But we have a lot of bus lines, and they cover a lot of area.
Yep.
So I could see why, that would be needed. Let's go through some quotes here on the airport.
Sure.
So one of them is saying, "We are going to make sure the airport has infrastructure in place because Sudbury is known for mining, but there's also Snow Lab. There's also post-secondary. There's also tourism, a slew of other activities around the airport. It's important for economic development. Air travel has become bottlenecked as larger airports have adjusted or increased air traffic volumes. They've had to rehire staff. Greater Sudbury Airport remains ready to take on growing passenger traffic."
Wow, that's good. Growing.
It seems like they're ready to go.
they're ready to go. And
Just
again,
need the volume to come up.
I do like the idea of forward thinking. As I said on the show the other day, this city is going to get an incremental amount of growth coming up in the near
Absolutely,
future.
if they keep spending.
Well, the thing is, we are going to get a lot of, now that the new, policies are coming out for a more green socioeconomical model.
True.
The
Trams, all electric.
all electric trams everywhere.
Better
What about-
than buses.
What about hovercrafts?
What about them?
Yeah. Or what about drones that bring you to the airport, flying already?
Well,
Then
they
you
already
say-
are in the air.
Then you say, you know what? How about just take me to Toronto in the drone instead of going to the airport to get on a plane? So that
Yeah,
wouldn't
that's
work.
an idea.
That wouldn't work then.
Because you wouldn't need an airport.
That's right. Just everyone has their own drone.
Space travel.
They're out there. I've seen it. Manned,
Drones?
yeah, drones. You can
Oh,
fly,
with
like
people?
big
Yeah.
drones.
I don't think they can go that far, though.
No. If they're solar,
Maybe. I don't know.
there's constantly being
I know
fed.
the Army has unmanned drones like
They
that.
do.
But
Yeah.
they have to launch them from planes, though.
Yeah. Problem is, you'd need a manned drone if you're going to fly one.
Right. That's the whole point of what we're talking about. Yeah.
For sure.
So would it be a drone anymore?
No,
Or would it just be
it would be a individual flying vehicle.
flying cars?
That's
Wasn't
right.
that a big thing in the 80s?
It was, and on the Jetsons and cartoons too.
Jetsons. Yeah, that didn't come true. Speaking
No.
of what else didn't come true.
What else did not come true? That's the question.
2 separate theater companies
Yes,
did not come true.
two separate.
Seems like there's just going to be the one moving forward.
What are they going to be called?
That's a good question. I don't know. But as it is typically with all art things, they're usually pretty big on names.
Yeah,
Like, for instance, someone like me, I'm more of a practical person.
yep.
I don't care so much about like what
A
things
name?
are called. I just try and make a good product.
Yep. Like what's in a name?
Yeah, here's a good example. When you sell a house, you take like a really good picture of the house, try and like stage it really nice. You don't write a book about the house. Like you don't say on a Thursday afternoon the sun was setting. Like there's just no theatrical application of what I do. So
No, to selling
when
a
I
house.
see something,
Although you could start something if you wrote.
could be the first one.
Look,
But
if you
people
get
don't go out to pro theater as it is, so
Okay.
it might be a bad investment.
Okay, so that's what you're
I
thinking.
wrong?
You're already thinking people don't take advantage of going out to see pro theater
Well,
as it is.
that's what the people
Low
in
attendance.
this article were saying.
Okay.
So 60 people sat in a circle around the stage.
Yeah.
Enough that more chairs had to be brought in.
Yeah.
They had executives and board members and the public talking about the merger between STC and Yes Theater.
Yeah.
Their 2022-2023 season partnership is under scrutiny. The actor Bill Sanders said, "We would have liked a lot more transparency." And one of the opening questions, he said, "My problem is that the communication from the STC board to the community wasn't there." So a lot of people would have stepped forward if they were given the chance and tried to help in some way, right?
Yeah. But they were kept in the dark, apparently, according to Bill.
Well,
Like they weren't notified.
To
They
give
weren't-
someone who's just coming on board with the story some background, what exactly is going on, do you think?
So the Yes Theater Company were doing their own thing. STC, obviously, professional theater company. Yes was the youth. I forget what the acronym is, but it's a youth theater group. Been very very successful in securing a lot of funding, and in that way successful, able to put on a lot of good productions, but amateur. Then you have the long-standing SDC. Usually, like long-standing things, they kind of get stuck in certain ways. And the other one was probably a little more innovative, with a lot of more freedom to just try things out and do things. And so sometimes that gets more momentum than the older, kind of more established,
STC.
almost like Kodak. Kodak invented film, was it? Or even cameras? No, they didn't invent cameras, but they're the first company to really take them out there and become a giant camera, entity. Now they're no longer in existence, because when phones came out and digital came out, they couldn't see that was the future and didn't roll with the punches. So something like that usually takes place with huge companies if they don't really take note to the changes in society or whatever, economic changes. So you had that. Now they're looking at, getting together, and they were going to partner, but then how are they going to work together? So this has been the case. So it looks like a merger is the latest, thing that they're looking at. Partnership, merger, just putting the two together, right? Is that what I
think that's a pretty good summary. This is ironic. They said, we're going to do something dramatic.
Yes.
It's funny.
I just want to say that, Miles is saying Kodak was the first developed camera.
Developed?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Like to take a picture and have it developed. Instamatic.
But all
remember
all
the
film
Instamatic?
photos are developed.
The Instamatic ones, you can just take a picture and the thing comes out the bottom. You don't ever see those?
Polaroid?
Instant cameras? Well, now Polaroid, yeah, because Kodak is no longer around.
Right.
But yeah, exactly.
I like Kodachrome. Those are cool.
And great song
Oh, yeah.
by Paul Simon.
Right.
I love that song.
Yeah, but it's like
Don't
it's
take
a
my
cool product.
Chroma
Yeah,
away.
Kodak did some cool stuff in the past. I think they're gone now.
They're gone.
Or at least they've been bought out or something.
They're gonzo.
But anyways,
Instamatic.
very good analogy, business analogy. So STC board member Brian Koivu said, "We have paid our bills, but we have just reached the point where trying to match revenues and expenditures has become impossible, to the point of being exhausted, and something needs to happen. We need to put boards on the windows."
Yeah.
So STC is running on fumes. They have a $130,000 mortgage.
Whoa.
Company's running on a line of credit at this point. Bailouts from the city. They got $200,000 in 2017. They have debts, $255,000.
You don't think there was any talks about merging the STC with this new Junction East? Like, why couldn't that?
Well, that is going on.
So they're going to tear down?
They're giving $3 million.
And they're,
Oh, no, that was the Arts Center.
yeah.
It's kind of, all these things kind of mesh together. That's why today's show is all about
Yeah, for sure.
different things.
Interesting stuff.
I want to,
Wow.
I do deeply desire to have more knowledgeable people talk to us about these things.
I have a desire of that too.
But the truth is, I'm usually disappointed
when you hear
when I hear them talk.
Yeah. And then you have more questions than you have answers.
Because while I do
Yeah.
sense that these things are very important to them,
Yeah.
I don't sense that they know a lot about it.
And there's agendas. Someone has a bias or an agenda, and so can you really look at something,
Like it's just,
without
it's
that?
unfortunate, but like all of us have a friend that
Yeah.
decided they were going to be an actor, or
Yeah.
they were going to do live theater or something. That friend never ends up being the financial responsible friend.
No.
It's sad, but like there's just certain
Yeah, you need the
prototypes
business.
of people that are true.
You used
that's one of them.
you used to need someone who had business sense because you used to need to be profitable. But apparently, as we
Yeah.
see with the city, that's no longer a case. You can just build things and pay for them and get funding from tax money.
Yeah, and
So
I
it's
don't know,
changing.
just
So
to
maybe
me, it's
maybe this is good. They don't have to rely on their own ticket sales and things anymore. They just get funding from the city.
anyways. Yeah, so
You know what I mean? Like, but you're
yeah, I
saying
agree.
actors-
But like, Yes Theater doesn't have the management either. Like, they're the same types of people. They're just younger and more energetic, and maybe better at selling tickets.
yeah,
So to me, it's like
which you do
you've
need
put
to-
it off, but
to bring in money. If you're good at that,
I
at
have
least
full
money
faith
comes in.
like Yes Theater. Scott Dennison is general manager. Like, I have full faith in the guy.
Well,
I
he's
think
very good at
really good at
acquiring-
what he's doing.
Yeah, getting this thing off the ground and bringing it to where it is now, and to be having these discussions with merging with a professional theater company. I mean, kudos to that. Like, he's a real go-getter.
Like, they have the money,
Mm-hmm.
and STC gets the bailouts. So it's like a great merger kind of thing. And Yes Theater never would have made it to the place that it is if it hadn't been, self-sustaining.
Exactly. Yeah,
So like, props in every way.
for sure. 2 thumbs up for that.
I don't know. Just to me, this is not a long-term plan. Like,
No.
you got prime real estate in downtown where STC is, and it's just the same old song and dance of like, we're just running into financial troubles, we're not able to keep up. Maybe it's time to hang up the hat of the professional theater thing until someone comes up with a better plan. That's kind of my perspective. And Yes Theater has offered them the solution. So
So this is the whole thing. 'cause
why is everyone upset? I don't know.
They're going to lose their professional standing, right? Is this what we're talking about here? Their professional accreditation as a
Yes.
professional theater group with all of this stuff, and then we won't have professional people that are on the road with their plays and getting these kind of top-notch performances. Is that what
Exactly.
we're
So
talking
one
about here?
of the controversial things was the decision to withdraw from the Professional Association of Canadian Theaters.
Mm-hmm.
So STC is a member of that, and they will
Exactly.
withdraw from that. So it's like,
But do they have to if they merge? Do they have to withdraw from that?
I'm not sure if they have
They
to.
can't have their
but
cake and eat it too.
That's going to be the. Sometimes you don't have a choice. You live in a limited world, right?
Yeah.
There's also the concern of hiring Canadian Actors Equity Association members
For sure.
because of the discrepancy between amateur and professional
Yeah.
theater.
I can see that.
I don't know. It's just, again, this is why it would be nice to have someone on, but like,
We have access to a lot of people. Like even Bill, we could just reach out to him.
yep.
Judy Strawn, we could reach out to quite a few people that would have something to say.
And I know
And
that's
why
really
don't we do
important
that?
to
Yeah,
them.
for sure.
I know it's really
Yes.
important to them, but like, good roads are important to me.
Yeah.
So like, why can't my road get a bailout?
Yeah.
Because it's not art. I don't
And
know.
who doesn't? When you go to a play, when I go to a play, I've never left there going, I'm disappointed.
I love it.
I've
Yeah,
never
I love
left
it. I love
any
live
play.
stuff.
Well, maybe some of the, the elementary school ones where they're so cute you can't really say anything
Disappointed, though?
about them. But
I don't think
was
you're
never
disappointed.
never disappointed at any theatrical production myself. I've always been like, wow, that was pretty cool, and I'd love to come back. So it's just a matter of marketing. It's a matter of getting people out there, I think, which is the conundrum. Once you're there, you're awed. You're in awe. It's a great experience, and it's usually for all ages. There's the odd time there's ones that are meant for more of an adult audience, but great for the family. And yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to get something going here that
I feel like I'm
continues.
the dad that's like
Yeah.
explaining to the kids that you can't go to Disneyland this year. Like it's unfortunate, but someone needs to say it.
For sure, definitely.
Got to pay the bills.
Pay the bills.
We got to build the $90 million library.
100. But anyways,
Yeah,
we'll be
100.
back. We'll be back.
If you live in Greater Sudbury and have an idea for a technology-based service or business, you might want to check out the new Innovation Quarters.
Yes, you should actually.
Officially open Tuesday, The IQ is the city's new downtown business incubator to
why is
foster innovation,
So
creative
why is it
thinking,
IQ? Is it
innovation quarters.
Innovation quarters?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where you want to come up. You got your acronym already, but do you need words to make the acronym?
That's exactly what
Yeah.
I said. Yeah.
Innovation quarters.
So it's like, would you use the word quarters? Probably
Not
not.
really.
But
Welcome to our quarters.
yeah,
And they can have quarters everywhere,
I like quarters.
you know? Cool.
This is the
Love it.
time. This is an
IQ.
opportunity for migration back to Sudbury, said Mayor Brian Bigger.
This is what? Back to Sudbury.
This is the opportunity for migration back to Sudbury.
Oh, so the people that have left, the brain drain.
Brain drain.
People that left are now going to come back because we have a place. We have a room you can be in to start your business.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
If you have an idea for a business or service.
And it's an initiative. So it's like they have all kinds of resources. So you used to have to go to the regional business center and get information. Now they'll have that same information at the IQ. And I like this though. You got to kind of apply.
Yeah, you need one full-time founder.
Yeah. And you need maximum 4 employees.
Right.
So this is why I like when it's top down, coming down. So free market is, hey man,
Whatever you can.
It's Steve Jobs in his freaking garage, and
Yeah.
it's his best friend as a child, and they're working it out, and that's the free market. And then they make the thing you got in your hand all the time, and it's changed the world. But then you got top down ideas of the government is now going to have that same innovation. We're going to make a place for you, and you need to have this. So Steve Jobs, sorry, you wouldn't qualify for this incubation hub. He wouldn't.
Well, it's kind of like you said off air. Sorry to out you.
Yeah, you
but
can't help me.
What you said is like these are non-business startup people.
Yeah,
Kind of reverse engineering the process.
that's right. So city employees are going to help you start your startup.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense, right? City employees who don't have any experience starting a business, I never met any that had their own business, are now going to be.
Not a whole lot of
helping
overlap in that
people
community
start
of
their
like
own
startups versus city employees.
Yeah. But they are going to have a mentor there. They're going to have someone who did start a business there, so you can speak to him, and he's going to be basically there all the time. And he started his business, something to do with time management. Time something.
Really?
It's the name of his business. Yeah.
What was the premise of that?
So he's there because he has the experience, which is very smart. And I used to work for a place that did this kind of same idea. And but it wasn't city. It was basically.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We helped entrepreneurs the same way, but it was entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs. So people who had their own businesses currently running them. Mm-hmm. Everyone was assigned their own particular business mentor who had their own business, and they would mentor a similar business or one that at least their knowledge would be able to help them out. And then we had classes and everything, and it's really awesome. Unfortunately, like everything in Canada, there was a huge aspect that was funded from the provincial government, and the provincial government said, nah, you know what? We got other things to do with this money. And that was just wiped out. And that's what happens when everything is like funded. One guy at a desk just decides to change his mind.
Like 1 year it's good,
all your
next
money's
year
gone.
it's not. Yeah.
Whereas if it's in the market, your customers decide
Right.
whether or not you're in business.
Which is what venture capital is all about.
Kind
right?
of idea. And speaking of that, the Northern Angels or whatever were just given an award for being like one of the best investor firms out there. Sorry, I shared it on our Sudbury News Facebook page, so you can read more about that.
Yeah, I think I just finished this book called Surviving Startup.
Yeah.
Just like Stephen Hoffman, I think his name is. And he runs, it's called an incubator.
Same idea as what the city's doing.
Yeah, but it's good.
Okay. Well, we don't know. The verdict's out. We just started
True,
it.
we don't know for sure.
NORCAD has done some really cool things, and NORCAD is behind this. And so
So basically the way an incubator would work is it's not about providing you space and all that stuff.
No.
It's about connecting you to important people.
The right people.
So it's like saying, because Steven had run his own startups before, so he had connections with venture capital, he had connections with IP lawyers, he had connections with software, experienced software developers, stuff like this. So people would come to him and he would kind of listen to their idea and decide whether or not it was worth introducing to his people.
Exactly.
Like that's a natural kind of incubator. And in return, they would receive equity in the company.
Yep.
A lot of the
Perfect
time.
model.
So
Perfect
because people
model.
don't have money to offer, they
Yeah.
receive equity instead. And because they were so selective with what businesses they would take, it actually became sort of viable. Mm-hmm. And what he kind of talks about is like venture capital, they lose like 90% of the time.
That's the idea of venture capital.
But they get like a unicorn once in a while that just makes like
that
tons
makes
of
up
money.
for all of the business, because business is a
Government
risk.
works the opposite way, right? Like they would consider a 90% failure like absolutely intolerable.
Yeah.
Because they don't care about money, they care about
Numbers.
how they look. Right?
Numbers
and how they look.
They look at the paperwork and they go on, what? You had 90% of your businesses fail? Well, we got to stop this. Wait a minute. The 10% that did succeed made up in droves for the failure.
Way more than made up for it.
Because the statistics are over 85% of business startups do fail.
Yeah, and those are the ones that we know about.
They fail. So that's just, if you're thinking of getting in business and whatever, just know that is, and you're going to start a few before one catches even. So you're going to learn from one, you're going to learn from another. Yeah. But so it's hard to mandate a startup into success
it's impossible
by government policies and government help and government funding. You can fund the heck out of something, but that won't make it successful. We've seen this. That's the theme of today's show.
It does seem to be the theme.
Yeah.
But startups they're huge money magnets. Like they need lots of money to spin up and become profitable. Some of them never do become profitable.
No. A great idea doesn't mean it's going to turn into a great business.
Yeah, good talent. To me, like the ingredients for startups, and this is coming from more of an academic perspective of someone who's been around startups and have friends who did startups and been interested in startups and read books about them, but I've never been the person to pursue something long enough to get to that funding stage, because that to me is what separates
for sure
a lot of the time.
You have to grow it enough to have all of the check boxes for somebody who's going to invest in you.
Yep.
And do that. And I could have been at that point because I have a business background and I basically started Skip the Dishes before Skip the Dishes. So it was a little too
sometimes too early is death too.
Yeah, I was the first to do it in Canada, and so I developed the software and everything online. But that was pre-apps. That was before apps existed. And the very thing that makes Skip the Dishes, Uber Eats, DoorDash able to operate the way they do is the app.
Sure.
The only thing. But I did online ordering, had all the infrastructure, everything. But then I sold it just before the invention of the app, which would have then,
like the iPhone.
Yeah,
I would 2005, 2006.
If I would have said, okay, I'm going to get an app, and I would have been one of those companies because I was already doing it. I would have been right there.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then just look at how many delivery apps there are now. It's like there's at least 10 that are doing the exact same thing.
Yep.
This is this idea of like piling on.
For sure.
Or like following a trend. So it's timing that's one of the things the book Surviving Startup talks about is sometimes you have the perfect idea, it's just the wrong time. And then you go through life feeling like he did something wrong, and then you see someone do the exact same thing later. And there's actually a really funny Key and Peele sketch about that. Where like the two guys are in class, and then one guy says like a joke to the other guy, and then like he laughs about it, and then he says it really loud for the whole class, and then the whole class laughs.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the original guy's like, "Hey, that was my joke," and they're all like, "Hey, don't steal his joke.
Don't steal his joke."
And it goes way, way further than that. Like he ends up telling the joke to Obama. Like,
oh no! And then
getting like an award for the presidential award.
And then he's known for that joke for the rest of his life.
The original guy is just like, "That's my joke."
That is so pertinent. That is so right on point for
But that's business. You know?
business. You come up with the idea, someone else makes it a success. It just happens. So yeah, speaking of time and speaking of success,
Yeah.
it's been a great show, but we have time for one more story.
We better talk about Sudbury Star
Let's
reducing their
do this now.
circulation.
Hot off the presses. Hear ye, hear ye.
That's good.
This is the breaking news.
Mm-hmm.
Sudbury Star.
Reducing to just a
Only-
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
What?
Yeah, so no Wednesday, no Friday,
Oh,
paper or digital.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
Ah.
No, Monday, Wednesday, Monday,
Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Monday,
I guess.
Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Maybe. I don't know.
thought
They
it was
just
only
said that
3.
what they're not doing anymore.
Okay.
So
I thought.
there's no Wednesday and no Friday.
Okay,
So
they
you
did.
You
I don't think
decide.
they had a Saturday paper for a while, and it was even
Now they
free. They were giving away a free Saturday paper to get people to
that's
kind of
cool.
read it. Just again, the industry trend is that there's no more papers. We don't even have a community paper anymore. And
Sorry, no Monday. It's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm looking at
Are
it
you
right
positive?
now. Yeah, I'm looking at it right
Because
now.
people are watching this and they're wondering when
There is no Monday paper.
And
I
when
was
does
wrong.
it start?
July 12th.
That's like right around the corner. 3 weeks away.
Yep.
2 weeks.
So obviously, as everything goes digital,
Crazy.
that's
Well, it's a sad
The way it
day for
goes.
papers, but news will continue to roll along, and we will continue to be back same time, same place tomorrow. And Miles just gets the last word of the day, which is it's still printed in North Bay. So if you want to get the North Bay, the Sudbury Star is still printed in North Bay. Yes, it is. So we'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Thanks for all your comments. So happy that we're able to get them on the live feed today. And so let's continue to get this thing out there. If you can like and share, we really appreciate that. So thanks for being part of this. And thanks, Zach, for being here today. Thanks to the Facebook and YouTube monitors. It's been great being with you today. Hope you had a good day too. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. And stay tuned now on Earshot Daily stay tuned now on CKLU for Earshot Daily. We'll be back.